Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to bring a sketch in to Adobe Illustrator that you've drawn and fill it with colors you've chosen or patterns that you've made in Illustrator. So say you have a presentation and you have flats that you're showing, for example, right here. And you've also done a sketch of those flats on a body. So what you want to do is you want that sketch to be a black and white sketch. You don't want to shade it or fill it in or anything, and you want to trace all your lines with a dark marker. So go to Photoshop. So here we go to Photoshop and bring in that sketch. Try it again. So here we go. All right. So here's the sketch. I've scanned it in. I traced it in pen and then a marker, and I've scanned it in, and now it's in Photoshop. I'm going to go to image, make sure that it is, check the image size, make sure it's at 300 here, and resolution, hit OK. There we go. And I'm going to shrink it back down here. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is make sure there's no blemishes or anything, erasing marks, which is not. We also want to make sure all the lines are connected, okay? Because when you take this into Illustrator and go to fill it, if there, for example, right here, if this is not connected, then whatever I fill this section with will go right into the sleeve. And maybe that's okay, but just in case I want the sleeve to have something different, then I don't want to, I want to make sure that this is connected and filled. So I'm just going to go to a paintbrush or pencil or whatever you want to use. Here you go, brush. And I'll fill this in. There we go. So I'm just going to look for anything. His lips, for example. Make sure that's filled in. And make sure your lines are dark. This might not even be quite dark enough for what I need it to do. So I'm just going to kind of trace this. And you can invert, or, you won't have to do this if you're careful when you trace the first time and get a good scan. And like I did, I was rushing this. Okay, up here I can see his hood is not connected. So I'm just going to, because I might want to have this section in the center be something different. So also, so make sure your lines are dark enough. Make sure everything is connected. You'll find out if there's any mistakes when you bring in the Illustrator and do what we're about to do. That's probably fine. That looks okay. Maybe I'll give him a little bit of a finger there. That's all connected. Looks dark enough. Come up here. Oh, right here we'll want to fill that in. So just check your whole sketch and make sure that it's all filled and looks good. I think that's all right. Okay. I don't know if I care about this, but I'll fill in for the sake of it. Okay. Now what I want to do is actually get rid of this background. You don't necessarily have to do it, but I'm going to do it. So in that case, notice right here in my layers, it says background is locked. I'm just going to right click this, duplicate layer, hit OK. I don't need this background layer in it, so delete it. I right click on that to get that menu to delete it. Now I'm going to go over here and select this tool, select my background, and make sure it's just selecting the background. It doesn't look like it's getting anywhere. And delete. Excellent. Okay, I can hit Command D to deselect that now. And I'm just going to check. Alright, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to save this. Save it as a JPEG or a Photoshop. Actually, I'm going to save it as a Photoshop file. You can do JPEG as well. It works with Illustrator just fine. and hit save, hit OK. All right, once you've done filling in all your gaps, if you want to make these lines darker, what you can do is go up to Image, Adjustments, and Brightness and Contrast. Okay, so I can change the brightness of him and the contrast. So if I go lower, you see how those lines get darker? Okay, contrast, you know, same thing, but it's really the brightness. Okay, so those lines are a little darker now. All right, hit OK, and then save. All right. All right, now I'm in Illustrator. I'm going to pop up that file. There it is right there. Bring them in. And now I'm going to shrink them down. Hold down Shift and pull from the corner. That will shrink them right down. And I think one a little smaller. I'm going to fit them right here. Okay. And now I'm going to, maybe I'll make them just, let me try that. Okay, so I'm going to bring them here. Now what I'll do is I'm going to go, while he's selected, I'm going to go to Object, and I'm going to go down to Image Trace, okay, and go to Make and Expand. Just hit OK. There we go. Okay, so now this is created, turned it into an object that I can fill with color. Okay, so I'm going to select him, I'm going to hit right click and ungroup. Let's get rid of the background now, delete that out of there. Okay, so you can see I ungrouped it and I can move sections of him away, which also means that I can fill him with colors I want. So if I have color tiles, which I have right here, and let's pop them up here. Okay, I can fill sections, so I can select there and just hit my, get my eyedropper, okay, which I just hit I. It's also right here on the tools, so, and I can just fill it in. So I can just select a bunch of areas I want to fill in with that color. I'll hold down Shift and select them. What the heck, let's do there too. And then there we go. Okay. And then maybe I want him to be wearing, I want this to be camouflage. So I can select that area, and then I can select the camouflage that I want. Both sleeves too. All right. There we go. And maybe I want this hood, this detachable hood from the jacket, to be camouflage as well. It could be a different one. So, all right. I don't know if I love this, so maybe I'll make that camouflage too. All right. And you can just experiment with it. And then his pants, you know, maybe I want this section here and here to be, you know, gray. And I want these sections to match. All right, and then maybe I want this section to be, you know, this blue, whatever. Okay, yeah, I hate that blue. Let's just keep it gray. And this is part of his pants as well. We'll select that. And, oops. There we go. All right. And again, we can change all this stuff as much as we want until we're satisfied with the final product. Okay. Maybe I want this inside section to just be gray like that. Okay. And I can even get that background right there and change that to a darker color. All right. Skin tone. Let's see if this works. I can select him, you know, and just give him Let's see. That looks all right. Lips. Oh, let's finish our hand. Okay, lips. Let's see, let's select that same color. And then we can just maybe make it a little different. Okay. And then the shoes. I mean, the shoes we can just give a pop of color to if we want to. White. Alright, so there we are. We filled them in with our patterns and colors that we have. Now we can just take them. I'd group them to make them easier to manage. And pop them in here. And then we can take, you know, our flats that we have and kind of change them if we need to, you know, whatever it needs to be to look good. And kind of try to get some kind of good layout here. Okay. And just, you know, just play around with it until you find something you like. And so there you go. And then, so this is another way to represent your work, present your work. If you're a good sketch artist, having the technical flats, and these could be also colored in with your fill and patterns, or you can leave them plain. Typically you'll do colorways and have multiple ones, but this is just another good way to represent your work and show it off.